Inflation, a result of poor economic policies or part of global economic woes. We are presenting it before you. As a matter of principle, all essays start with an outline. Accordingly, the outline which we suggest in this regard is introduction, definition of inflation, understanding the causes of inflation, overview of the debate, poor economic policies versus global economic factors. Poor economic policies as a cause of inflation, mismanagement of fiscal policy, excessive government spending, high budget deficits, monetary policy mistakes, loose monetary policy, failure to control money supply, structural issues, inefficient tax system, lack of investment in productivity enhancing measures. Global economic factors as a cause of inflation, commodity price fluctuations, oil prices, food prices, exchange rate movements, depreciation of domestic currency, impact on import prices, global supply chain disruptions, COVID-19 pandemic and its effects, bottlenecks and shortages. Interplay between poor economic policies and global economic factors. Amplification effect. Weak economic policies exacerbate the impact of global factors. Global factors can magnify the consequences of poor policies. Case studies, examples of countries with poor policies facing global inflationary pressures, instances where sound economic policies mitigate global inflationary risks. Mitigating inflationary pressures, sound fiscal policy, controlling government spending, reducing budget deficits, effective monetary policy, balancing interest rates, managing money supply, structural reforms, tax reforms for efficiency, promoting productivity and investment. Then is the conclusion, that is the recap of the debate on causes of inflation, recognition of the interplay between poor policies and global factors, importance of adopting appropriate economic measures for controlling inflation. We start our essay with, of course, the introduction or the introductory paragraph. Inflation is a critical economic phenomenon that affects individuals, businesses, and government worldwide. It refers to the sustained increase in the general price level of goods and services over a period of time, leading to a decrease in the purchasing power of money. Understanding the causes of inflation is of paramount importance for policymakers and economists in devising effective strategies to manage it. This essay explores the debate surrounding the origins of inflation, examining whether it primarily stems from poor economic policies or is a result of global economic factors. One perspective attributes inflation to poor economic policies pursued by governments. Mismanagement of fiscal policy is a significant contributor to inflation. Excessive government spending, particularly beyond the capacity of the economy, can lead to a surge in demand, outstripping the supply of goods and services and driving prices upward. Additionally, high budget deficits resulting from excessive government borrowing put upward pressure on inflation by increasing the money supply in the economy. Monetary policy mistakes can also trigger inflation. Central banks that pursue a loose monetary policy characterized by low interest rates and an expansionary stance can stimulate excessive borrowing and spending, thereby fueling inflation. Moreover, a failure to effectively control the money supply can result in excess liquidity, which can find its way into the economy, leading to inflationary pressures. Structural issues within an economy can also contribute to inflation. An inefficient tax system, for example, can distort incentives, discourage investment, and hinder economic growth, ultimately driving up prices. Moreover, a lack of investment in productivity enhancing measures such as infrastructure development, research and development, and education can limit an economy's capacity to produce goods and services efficiently, thereby putting upward pressure on prices. While poor economic policies can indeed contribute to inflation, global economic factors also play a significant role. Fluctuations in commodity prices, such as oil and food, can have a substantial impact on inflation. Increases in oil prices, for instance, raise the cost of production and transportation, leading to higher prices for goods and services. Similarly, spikes in food prices can result in increased production costs and push up prices across various sectors of the economy. Exchange rate movements can also influence inflation levels. If a domestic currency depreciates against other currencies, the prices of imported goods increase, affecting the overall price level in the economy. This depreciation driven inflation can particularly pronounced in countries heavily reliant on import of essential commodities and raw material, as in the case of Pakistan. Global supply chain disruptions have emerged as a significant factor influencing inflation in recent times. The COVID-19 pandemic and the subsequent lockdowns disrupted supply chains, leading to shortages and bottlenecks. These disruptions, coupled with increased demand for certain goods, contributed to higher prices. The shortage of semiconductors, for example, impacted various industries including smartphone, laptops, and automobile manufacturing, leading to price hikes in these sectors. As regards the interplay between poor economic policies and global economic factors, it is crucial to recognize that poor economic policies and global economic factors often interact and reinforce each other, magnifying the impact of inflation. Weak economic policies can exacerbate the inflationary consequences of global factors. For instance, a country with lax fiscal and monetary policies may find itself more vulnerable to commodity price fluctuations and global supply chain disruptions, as it lacks the necessary buffers to absorb and mitigate these shocks effectively. Conversely, global economic factors can amplify the consequences of poor economic policies. For instance, a country with inefficient tax systems and weak investment in productivity enhancing measures may experience even higher inflationary pressures when faced with commodity price shocks or disruptions in global supply chains. The lack of resilience in the economy exacerbates the inflationary impact of external factors. Case studies provide valuable insights into the interplay between poor economic policies and global factors in driving inflation. Countries that have implemented poor economic policies, such as excessive government spending or loose monetary policy, are often more susceptible to inflation when faced with global inflationary pressures. On the other hand, countries that have adopted sound economic policies, include prudent fiscal and monetary measures, are better equipped to withstand and mitigate the impact of global inflationary risks. However, effective management on inflation requires a combination of measures aimed at addressing both poor economic policies and global economic factors. Sound fiscal policy is crucial for controlling inflation. Governments need to exercise restraint in spending, ensuring that expenditures are sustainable and aligned with the productive capacity of the economy. Additionally, reducing budget deficits through responsible fiscal management helps contain inflationary pressures by limiting the expansion of the money supply. Central banks do play a vital role in managing inflation through monetary policy. They need to strike a balance in setting interest rates, avoiding excessively low rates that encourage borrowing and spending beyond sustainable levels. It was in this context that interest rates were enhanced in Pakistan in mid 2023 to increase the saving rate and decrease spending. Moreover, effective control of the money supply, ensuring that it aligns with the productive capacity of the economy, is essential to prevent excess liquidity and inflation. Structural reforms can also contribute to mitigating inflationary pressures. An efficient tax system that promotes productivity, investment, and economic growth can help reduce inflationary tendencies. Additionally, investing in infrastructure, education, and innovation can enhance an economy's productive capacity, leading to increased supply and more stable price level. As a matter of principle, again, essay must have a conclusion, or the last paragraph of essay is always a conclusion. In this case, conclusion would be: inflation is a complex economic phenomenon influenced by a combination of factors. While poor economic policies can contribute to inflation, global economic factors also play a significant role. The interplay between these two aspects highlights the importance of adopting appropriate economic measures to manage inflation effectively. Sound fiscal and monetary policies, coupled with structural reforms, can help mitigate inflationary pressures. By addressing both domestic policy shortcomings and global economic challenges, policymakers can work towards maintaining price stability and fostering sustainable economic growth. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you.